later when his heart was broken, and he plummeted from middle class to poverty when his father left his mother to start a family with Sharpton's half-sister. I told you his bottom was more bottom. If you've ever heard him preach, you can hear how he was born first in Pentecostal tongues of fire and then reborn in swirling Baptist waters of prophecy. He preached his first sermon the year I was born. He has honed his craft in churches high and low, black and white and beyond over the past 62 years. And he's been mentored by some of the best black folk in the land. Sharpton went out on tour with gospel great Mahalia Jackson as a youth, sat under preaching legends Bishop Frederick Douglass Washington and Dr. William Augustus Jones, was tutored by the political maverick Adam Clayton Powell, nurtured by the electrifying evangelist for justice Jesse Jackson, and, perhaps most famously, he got taken under wing by the godfather of soul, James Brown. It is well known by now that it was Brown who, in exchange for his support and for making Sharpton his tour manager, got the minister to style his hair after the famous impresario of funk. As Sharpton has combed through controversies and criticism, he has maintained a permanent allegiance to his follicular forebear. People readily identify with Sharpton because, despite his fame, he is a black everyman. When he first broke through as an activist, he was clothed in the tracksuit and sneakers favored by young folk in his generation. Later, he was sheathed in Brooks Brothers suits and other tailored fashions. He lost significant weight when he fasted in 2001 to protest military exercises on the island of Vieques, Puerto Rico, and has since shed half a man, and with it the unjustifiable image of a racial arsonist, to become the most well-respected leader of his generation. Sharpton is arguably the last great figure of a dying breed of charismatic Christian leaders thrust into a prominence he has maintained for decades. Along the way, he was youth director for the presidential campaign of Shirley Chisholm, youth director for the New York City branch of Jesse Jackson's Operation Breadbasket, founder in 1971 of the National Youth Movement to raise funds for poor youth, and, 20 years later, founder of the National Action Network to increase voter education, registration, and turnout to help the poor and to stimulate local community businesses. And he ran for president in 2004. But it is as an on-the-ground activist who couldn't be ignored that Sharpton made his mark. When Bernard Goetz shot 4 black men on the New York City subway in 1984, for which he was eventually cleared of all but the most minor charge, Sharpton protested in the streets the weak prosecution of the self-styled vigilante. When 3 black men, including Michael Griffith, were assaulted in the Howard Beach section of Queens in 1986 by a white mob and chased onto the Belt Parkway, Griffith was struck and killed by a passing motorist. Sharpton led a protest march a week later through Howard Beach, as its residents spewed race hate and epithets at the mostly black marchers. His actions compelled New York Governor Mario Cuomo to appoint a special prosecutor in the case. In 1989, 4 black teens were violently set upon by up to 30 Italian youths in the Brooklyn neighborhood of Bensonhurst. One of them shot and killed 16-year-old Yusef Hawkins with a handgun. Sharpton led protest marches in the immediate aftermath of the event, again after one of the 2 ringleaders was acquitted of the most serious charges against him, and later after other members of the gang were given light sentences. It was before that last demonstration that Sharpton was stabbed in the chest, and when he recovered, he pleaded for mercy for his assailant when he was sentenced in court. Sharpton was involved in the Tawana Brawley controversy, where a young black woman claimed to have been raped by 6 white men in Wappinger, New York, though it turned out later to be a hoax. Amid the firestorm of criticism of the civil rights leader, few pointed out then, and few have said since, that Sharpton's greatest fault may have been that he took Brawley seriously and at her word. As the motto